Let's kick things off with a simple idea, but one that's actually, well, really profound. Your ability to get the best medical care, it just shouldn't be a lottery. It shouldn't depend on where you happen to call home.
I mean, just let that sink in for a second. Should your health, your very life, really depend on your zip code? For millions and millions of people, this isn't some abstract thought experiment. No, it's their stark, everyday reality.
All right, to really get a handle on the scale of this, let's look at a pretty staggering number from the World Health Organization. The African continent, it shoulders about 24% of the entire world's disease burden. Just think about that. That's a huge, huge weight.
Now hold on. Here's the other side of that coin, the number that really shows you the challenge. To handle that massive 24% burden, the continent has just 3% of the world's health force. It's an incredible imbalance, and it creates these enormous, almost unimaginable gaps in care. And this, right here, brings us to the very heart of the problem. It boils down to a simple question of geography. Your access to a doctor isn't based on how sick you are, it's based on where you live, period.
And here's why that geography matters so much. The experts, the top neurologists, the oncologists, all those specialists, they're almost all packed into a few big city hospitals. So if you live anywhere else, well, you're facing a massive, sometimes totally insurmountable wall just to get the care you need.
It's easy to talk about stats and structural problems, but this isn't an abstract issue. This distance, it has a real, tangible human cost. So let's talk about what this actually means for real people on the ground.
Okay, just imagine this. You've had a stroke and you live in rural Zambia. Your only hope for seeing a specialist means an 800-kilometer journey. 800 kilometers. That's an enormous, often impossible trip at the very moment you are most vulnerable.
Or, let's take another example. A cancer patient in northern Nigeria. Just to get that first expert opinion, they have to make a long, expensive trip to Lagos or Abuja. And that's just for one single meeting, before a treatment plan can even begin.
So what do these stories tell us? It's that these aren't just isolated cases of bad luck. Not at all. They point to a deep, structural problem with how healthcare is set up. The system itself, it becomes the barrier. All of this leads to a pretty game-changing question, right? What if we could just flip this whole model on its head? Instead of forcing sick people to travel hundreds of kilometers, what if we could make the expertise travel to them? And that's exactly the idea we're diving into now. A whole new approach where medical knowledge can travel digitally, basically at the speed of light. It just erases the problem of physical distance. And honestly, this is where things start to get really exciting. So what is this solution? It's called the Virtual Care Network, and it's an initiative from AfriPharm Health. The mission is super clear and powerful. Use technology to bring the specialist directly to the patient no matter where they are. And you might be thinking, okay, how does this actually work? Well, it's surprisingly simple. It all starts with the patient, right from their home. An AI system then does a quick evaluation of their symptoms and history. If it detects anything high risk, boom, that case is instantly sent to a specialist. And just like that, the patient is connected securely with the expert they need. But hold on, this is way more than just a fancy video call app. The real genius here, the real power, is that this whole thing is part of a much larger, fully connected system. See, the Virtual Care Network isn't some isolated piece of tech. Think of it more like the connective tissue holding the entire AfriPharm health ecosystem together. It links every single part of a patient's journey, making it one smooth, seamless experience. So what does that actually mean for the patient? It means that virtual consultation is tied directly into everything else. It connects to the home care network where they started. It connects to the pharmacy partner network so they can get their medicine. And it connects to the hospital partner network if they do end up needing an in-person visit. And what you get is, well, it's true continuity of care. It's like a single, unbroken line that follows the patient from the second they feel sick right through to their specialist consult and all the way to their treatment. Okay, that's the theory. But what does this future of access actually look like in the real world? Let's talk about how this is already changing and saving lives. All right, picture this, a high-risk pregnancy in rural Kenya. The patient uses the home care network. Right away, the AI flags a possible complication. We're talking minutes later, she's on a call with an obstetrician. The specialist confirms it's high risk and immediately gets her referred to a regional hospital. That single intervention, that early connection, that can literally be the difference between life and death. Or how about managing a chronic condition, like diabetes in Kumasi, Ghana. The before picture is what you'd expect. Long, exhausting trips to Accra, long waits, delays in getting care. But the after? Now, they can connect with their specialist remotely, get their meds adjusted almost instantly, and just consistently manage their health from their own community. I mean, the difference is night and day. And this is so important because it matters way beyond just the individual patient. By helping people remotely, the whole system gets a huge boost. It takes the pressure off those overcrowded city hospitals, and it frees up those few precious specialists to focus on the most critical patients who absolutely have to be seen in person. So, it all comes back to that core belief we started with, doesn't it? It's a simple but incredibly powerful idea. Your health and your access to expertise should never be determined by the place you call home. So we've seen how technology can shatter the barrier of access. That's huge. But connecting a patient with a doctor, that's really just the beginning, isn't it? The next critical question has to be, okay, what happens after the diagnosis? How do we make sure that conversation is followed by affordable, effective treatment? And that is a whole other part of the story.